Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We back again. We left again. We back again. We left for a second, but we back. And then Walt still got two kids. I still got one. One like young child, but then Walt still got like two really young kids who like they're not talking, but they are talking, but they're not talking for real. But they talking. You just don't understand it. Listen, we ain't here for none of that. We are here to bring you back into the fold because big things are now starting to happen. It is 2024. It is a draft night. Everybody on this podcast is now 40 years old. We grown ass men now. Listen, it's What's Good America. All right. I am that 40-year-old debonair. Because when you get 40, like you ain't handsome no more, like you debonair. That 40-year-old debonair host himself, the chocolate mahogany God himself, the distinguished C. Turner. Let that sink in. Let that simmer in your spirit for a second. I'm 40, big dog. I still put these hands on you, then I call the law. Let that sink in your spirit. But ladies and gentlemen, the father of two, Chicago's own, Southern California representing Mr. 401k, the father of two light-skinned babies. All right? Two of them. Population gonna be all light-skinned. And he got a lot to do with it. James Big Game Walton the third. What's going on, baby?
I mean, what's good, America? Listen. All you gotta do is see the name if you're paying attention. All you gotta do. We got one guy that's handling business right now. That has to be. And we got another guy that I don't even know, man. I heard Mike Bazemore was in Disneyland, but I think Disneyland's over here in Los Gatos right now. I'm telling you right now, I don't even know what to do. Chris Turner, we know what we're talking about.
Listen, all right. So
2020. We know what we're talking about, but I'm gonna let you try to guide this thing, but I'm about to go crazy. I got a lot of shit to say.
I'm going to speak my piece, and then I'm going to respectfully just back off.
I got a lot of shit to say. I'm about to America, I'm about to wake my kids up from their nap. I've been holding this in, but I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
2024 draft. The number one pick went the number one and what was it?
Number 9.
Number 9 pick went to the Chicago Bears, who have a long, illustrious history of sucking when it comes to picking a quarterback.
Bingo.
That's not for me to say or judge right now. That's not. I'm just here to say that's what.
No, you can say. See, I shouldn't even be interrupting you because I know we got a short window for me to get this out and get this published while the draft's happening. You are allowed to say that. You know why you're allowed to say that? Because of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are represented by your team. You know what great quarterback play looks like. I mean, in fact, you've had some quarterbacks that have come through and somehow, maybe not the best, but you've made the playoffs with those guys.
Yeah. Did all right.
So you have the right to say that, considering that, I don't know, Jay Cutler holds every passing record for Chicago. And that is not a knock at Jay Cutler. That is the history of us. Sorry, back to you.
So with that being
said, we're just going to be spitting facts throughout this all.
Big shouts out to Daniel Constantine Marino, the GOAT, the God himself.
Dan Marino.
He ain't dead or nothing like that. I just always got to shout out Dan Marino.
You got to all quarterback praises be to Daniel.
All praises be to the God himself. Listen, man, we're here to talk about the Bears. That's what it comes down to. The Dolphins drafted a defensive end who, honestly, I wish we would have got somebody else, but this kid is going to be a great addition to go with Phillips and everything else. We're going to have a good defense. And that's not why we're here. We'll talk about that part later.
Oh, yeah. We got plenty we're going to cover the whole draft.
We are here to talk about what can, what will, what is, what people will write about, what people are jumping to shenanigans about. Because if you let somebody shenan once, they'll shenan again. All right.
Yeah, it's been going on for 3 years, and it's still carrying over.
In 3 years of that Georgia/Ohio State quarterback, who I never really was a fan of, but he became a local legend somehow, some way. in Chicago because I guess a lot of people in Chicago play Madden, so they feel like Madden will adjust over to the NFL because if you have a running quarterback in Madden, you could
Bang,
probably
bang,
win a couple of games.
bang, bang. Thank you for
Shout out
that.
to Chief Keef. But you know what? I'm talking. Walt, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. And you know what I really appreciate, CT, is that's the way you wanted to come at it. You want to talk about this from the Justin Fields angle. And honestly, I have no issue starting with this. So I'm going to go to the angry part of this rant because America, I have been holding this in for months. I think we touched on it here and there when we've had a chance to do some shows, talk about the things we love, the Rumble, talk about WrestleMania. I probably did it in a Give Me a Minute, so it was a throwaway. But I've got this whole little 20 minutes here,
It's all yours.
5 minutes to really dive into what really has me upset. And it's very much similar to the rant I had in the 2021 draft. Do you remember how mad I was about how? It's about how. It never really was about who. It was about the how. When I talked about us drafting Justin Fields, what made me mad is that we gave away draft picks to draft somebody we could have got at 17. Because to his credit, his college talent warranted that he was a first-round draft pick. You cannot sneeze at 42 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in a season.
No.
I don't care how it looks to anybody's eye, okay? I'm the guy that's willing to tell you, I believed in Cade McNown 25 years ago. I thought we had it then. And Cade McNown, if you go look at that tape, shit. Okay? So this is not a guy that's not coming without his flaws. But I was 16 years old when we drafted Cade McNown. I am 41 years old with 2 children, a beautiful, doting, loving, wonderful wife.
And a 401k.
Years of playing with NFL caliber players all across this country and being able to pull myself up and learn from them and see these things and understand the game. And this is the bottom line that comes to all this. And I'm coming at people that I love that are my blood. I am so disappointed in the city of Chicago fan base. 90% of you guys and the things I've been reading, smart football people that I know, I have seen boycott the draft. I've seen we didn't give him enough help. I've seen, oh my goodness, the best quarterback pick was Michael Penix Jr. going to Atlanta. That's going to be a great conversation for later on this week.
Oh, that's a whole nother conversation.
I've seen all these things to where it's like, oh, da-da-da, this and this and this. And I'm going to tell you all right now, and this is going to offend people that I love, but I'm going to get it out because I've held it in. You're stupid. And you've been stupid for 3 years. Don't take offense to it. I'm telling you the truth. Chris, this is what I'm going to do to help explain this to people. And I'm going to do what I'm basically on this show to do. I got great jokes from time to time. But I'm supposed to be the guy with the facts. I'm going to read 2 stat lines to you that need to be discussed. Okay? This is the first stat line I'm going to read. Statistically, the best season for this quarterback was passing-wise. He threw for, in 13 games that he played, he threw for just under 2,600 yards.
Right.
In 13 games played.
200 yards a game.
16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Okay.
That was his best passing season. Chris, who do you think I'm talking about with that quarterback?
Somebody like mid-tier. Like this is not somebody you want to rely on as a starter. Is it a current player?
It is a current player. Matter of fact, it was the quarterback for the Bears last year. That was his passing line. Oh, you know what else I forgot to add to that? A 61.5% completion percentage.
Yeah.
That's Justin Fields. So in 13 games, if you divide 13 by 2,500 some change, that means under 200 yards passing per game. And that was his best
187.
season passing the football.
You can't win much with that.
I have a number right here, Chris. Actually, I have two calculators. This is how serious I am. In order to average 3,000 passing yards for a season, Chris, you only have to throw for 177 yards a game.
Okay.
So the 13 games he played, he couldn't even do that. Well, actually, he did do that. So I'll give him that. You know what our record was? 5-8. You know the year that he was the hotness, 2022, Chris?
When you said they should have got rid of him, but
when they should have traded him.
I just want to put that out there that you did say after his biggest year, now's the time to get rid of him because the sky is the limit on what you can get back for him. But go ahead.
So that was his best. I want to give him kudos. So I don't want to shit on him because he was on pace. Had he been healthy, he was on a 3,000 yard pace. So fair. But the season that made him Justin Fields, let me read this line to you. Okay. 60% completion. He started 15 games. He threw for 2,242 yards.
Okay. I mean,
Chris, what did I just tell you? In 17 games, what you have to average. So if you add 350 yards to that, it's 2,600 yards, which means he averaged under 175 yards passing a game in his best season. Yes, he averaged 7 yards a carry, 1,000 yards. Incredible.
Yeah.
17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. This is what we're praising. And the Bears were 3-12.
Yeah. And it wasn't a good 3-12 either.
And he led the league in sacks and fumbles. The sacks, I don't have a problem. I've seen Russell Wilson lead the league in sacks and take a team to the playoffs. 16 fumbles. He led the league in fumbles. I'm going to read another stat line to you. %67 completion rating, 3,223 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 420 yards rushing. How do you feel about 3,200 passing yards and just over 400 yards rushing with 24 throwing touchdowns compared to, in somebody's best season, 2,200 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 11 picks, ran for 1,000 yards, and had 8 touchdowns? Which quarterback would you take?
Give me the quarterback with more passing yards because he probably is going to be on the field more because you can only run out of bounds so many times before them hits really start to wear in on you. So give me the quarterback with more passing yards.
That was Mitchell Trubisky's season.
My bad.
No, that's the laugher you need to have. This has been my biggest issue because I said it on this show 3 years ago. And Chris, this is the reason why we're not rich. You know the reason why we're not rich and we're not on Barstool Sports and we're not ESPN affiliated or Fox Sports or whatever? You know why? Because they're keeping guys like you and me in the basement where they want us to be. Those guys who are they? There's some Joe Schmoes. Oh, you need some more of this. You need some more of that. All we have is facts. We have a library of facts when it comes to certain topics. And this kid has been one of the hottest topics on the worst team in football for the last 3 years. He doesn't even have a season that touches Mitch Trubisky in 2018, and he has been dubbed a career backup. I have been holding on to this. I've been holding on to this. So when I hear people tell me he didn't have enough this, he didn't have enough that, blah, blah, blah. Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowl alternate in 2018, and the Bears were 12-4 with Matt Nagy, who was run out of Chicago and has now won a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator. He now has 3 Super Bowl rings. So you're telling me, go ahead, interrupt me because I'm just getting started.
I'm gonna give it back to you, and I'm gonna get back on the But
Let's keep telling people how dumb they are and stupid they are that they've been supporting a guy that has not lived up to the expectations of being the 11th overall pick and a franchise quarterback. Please step in.
with you saying that, at some point, just to pivot off of it, we're going to need to have a conversation about Joel Embiid at this point, because the fact that you, because the fact that you brought up,
at least he's won an MVP and won a playoff series.
but you brought up Matt Nagy leaving and pretty much taking the team with the same type of offense to the holy mecca of winning a ship. And Joel Embiid has made us all trust the process and ran this coach, that coach, and this GM out. And those coaches, for the most part, have went on to be somewhat successful. And the Sixers that's a whole other thing. Listen, I have made my jokes about the quarterback in question. I'm not gonna say his name because I lost a lot of respect for him when the whole Georgia debacle, and then how high up everybody was on him when he went to Ohio State.
I think we made fun of him for that.
We did.
That he couldn't beat out.
Did.
And then we had a ball with Jake Fromm. Speaking of drafts, best draft show we ever did.
We made fun of him then because essentially, and I am. You ran from Alabama in the competition in the SEC.
You ain't forgetting that, are you?
No,
You're
I'm not.
Go.
No, you became a gimmick quarterback for Georgia behind a kid who looks like he sells insurance. So you went to Ohio State and you threw for ungodly numbers. Now, if you compare the throws that he made compared to the throws that CJ Stroud made when he was at Ohio State.
Did you have my phone tapped today? Go. I'm sorry. Go.
It's the difference between spot throwing and throwing somebody open. All right. I'm not a quarterback. I've had no illusions of grandeur of being a quarterback. I am the greatest flag football quarterback of all time.
But who is your quarterback? Don. Who is the Don of your quarterbacks? What was his name again?
Daniel Constantine Marino.
What was he known for doing?
He can put a football through a keyhole.
Bingo. So that's what that's my POV of,
and I get it. That's not fair to judge him by that, and I don't mean to even judge him by that. But even if I'm going to judge him by the fragile Hawaiian I have at quarterback now, when my guy's on the field, he doesn't spot throw. Yes, we have some of the fastest guys in the league, and it'll be super easy for him to spot throw. But
he's made it to the playoffs.
He's made it to the play, and he throws guys open when he's healthy and not throwing up gang signs in the middle of the field. So it was unfair for the comparison. They both went to Ohio State, but yeah, they were two different types of quarterbacks at Ohio, at the same school, and the same offensive strategies and everything. And I think they may have had I don't think they had a receiver to overlap or two. Did they?
Oh yeah, they've had a couple.
Oh, then you had receivers that overlap. Look at the receivers.
They've all overlapped in some shape or form.
Go ahead.
Well, the reason why I raised my hand is because I just wanted to remind America again, because our subscribers haven't changed when we have this knowledge on film. But didn't somebody on this show talk about what the Bears should have did with the number 1 pick?
You did.
And who did he say that if he was the GM, what he would have did?
You get CJ Stroud, Marvin Harrison.
And would have been able to get who next year? Because we still would have had a first-round pick, and we would have been able to get Marvin Harrison.
You said that.
Interesting. Because Marvin Harrison was the first non-quarterback to anyway. That's not what I want to do. I want to continue to rant on the 90% because it's not the whole fan base. I have friends that I'd like to shout out. My boy Cole Voigt, my boy Zach Cox, okay? 2 of my favorite guys, college teammates of mine, college best friends of mine, still talk to this day, that were on the same place I was that fateful day when you laughed at me for an entire week because I was so mad, and it was COVID, And on top of that, Bays told me I hate black quarterbacks.
He
So it
did.
was
He did
really
say that.
doubly
He did say.
bad week for me.
He did say that, and he leaned into it for the entire.
And for the rest of the year, I'm still mad about it. I hope they stop you for trespassing in Disneyland, Bays. I hope you watch this.
Oh
Still
my
mad.
God.
Shout out to Jamie and the kids. So I want to get back to the 90% fan base that has been so outraged. How could we do this? We had our guy. He never put up better numbers than Mitch Trubisky. You sound stupid. This is family that's catching this shrapnel right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to take it. And I hope you watch it. And I hope you feel offended that I called you football stupid, because you're football stupid.
I hope you feel offended.
I do.
You are literally diving into my level of petty.
I am serious. I have been mad about this because people I love, I have tried to talk to off of the spaces of the internet,
Right.
Just personally, like, hey, I think you need to. I mean, like, have you noticed your statuses recently?
Mm-hmm.
I started to notice some shit I said 15 years ago that I wrote, and I'm really, some of that shit holds up, but some of that shit I look really stupid. There's a lot of Lil Wayne mixtape lyrics that
of course.
I wish I could take back. I really do. My life was pretty good in 09. We were winning games and on our way to a championship.
We were different people. I have a conversation with Goldie every day, and he reminds me of some of the things that we used to say and do, of which I'm not exceptionally proud of, but at the same time, it was 15 years ago. I was 25.
Shout out Mark Goldie, by the way.
Yeah, it was
favorite guy.
We were different people. So
I'm just trying to tell people this stuff, the way we are in this world, you're going to have to live with all these Justin Fields praise comments, because that same 90% that, will I say maybe I wasn't overly excited about Caleb Williams? No, I'm not going to sit here and act like he's the guy, he's the savior. No, but you know what he is. Can we just get to the point of this? Because I think you're going to agree with me. And this is why I have to call these people football dumb. And some of this is family, very close family to me. Right. And you're football dumb. If you understand what Caleb Williams is and why this pick was so important, it's important for two reasons. One, what it's done for Chicago is something it hasn't done since Derrick Rose blew his knee out. And I don't think people understand how important that is. We are the third largest city in the country, and we haven't remotely had anything interesting to talk about in America's pastime now. Because it used to be baseball. It's football. Football has become America's pastime.
Listen, I never miss the opportunity to shit on the city and of Chicago, so I'm gonna take that opportunity right now. You guys lost. You guys have the Bears, and the Bears are the Bears, and the arena teams are non-existent now. I don't believe the Blackhawks are okay at best.
Well, we got a young star. We just got to get him some help.
Yeah. The Cubs got theirs.
We win it.
The Cubs have been doing okay.
Yeah, we percolating.
The Southsiders have been the Southsiders.
And I'm from there, and that just hurts my heart.
Taste of Chicago is now gone. Harold's Chicken is still overrated as shit. Mild sauce is still trash.
Too far.
Italian beefs are horrible. You guys don't put ketchup on hot dogs.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Now you just bashing the city. Stop that shit. Get back to the sports. I gave you the Harold Chicken, and I allowed you to say that on wax, and I can't even edit that. You need to stop that shit right now. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
You know Harold's Chicken is delicious. And
Dude,
you know that Al's beef was getting you through whenever you had to lay shit. You better stop that shit right now.
Fresh out that paper, boy. Them sandwiches.
With that grease on there, you better stop. like a Bona beef ain't saved your life at 2:30 in the morning. You better quit it. How dare you?
Oh my God. Sorry.
No, you good. You good. I just had to. Yeah, it was good. You were talking about sports, and then all of a sudden, you shit on. I can't have you shitting on my home like that now.
Bang bang.
I might be mad at the fan base, but I'm never mad at the city. Anyway, listen. That's what he does. We are now talked about because we have drafted somebody that's been evaluated as a generational talent.
Yeah.
So be grateful to Ryan Poles that he's now made this. It makes it a lot easier to pass making a $5 billion stadium. And all of a sudden there's a dome being put on it. I wonder why. That probably sold this kid on like, I only got to be cold for a couple more years. And then I can choose when I want to be cold and warm.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, and this to me is the football part of it and why I've heard people, well, I get it. We weren't happy with the comments he made about, I just want to do this and do that. I didn't like that.
No.
But I'm going to use curse words here, Chris. What the fuck does that have to do with him throwing a football?
Point.
The fuck does that have to do with him watching film? Nothing. So, dumb Bears fans, I don't want a guy that paints his nails. I don't want a guy that shut up. You're stupid. You're stupid. I don't care. Yes, please.
All right. Just to address that. You do know, and not you, I'm speaking to the Bears dynamic. Not
The
you.
90% dumbass fans that have been so against this.
But you do realize that quarterbacks are some of the biggest prima donnas in the world, and
Hello.
all of them have their ticks, essentially. Whether it's painted fingernails, I've had quarterbacks who shaved their legs before a game because it made them feel faster. I get manicures and pedicures, and I've been doing it since my sophomore year of college. So whatever.
Yeah.
On top of that, let's just go outside the spectrum. You do realize that I think it's 10% of the population is gay. So even if he is, doesn't fucking matter. Because
Nope.
at the end of the day, the kid can spin the ball. Like,
And we support all that on this show.
yeah, like the kid at the end of the day, allow my Southern rant to come out, then I'm gonna give it back to you because I know we're running out of time. But a small Southern rant. I don't give a damn if you're gay, straight, trans, a fluffy, pony or a brony or any of that. Can you win me games?
Yeah. Can you, and as they say at the quarterback position, can you spin it?
Can you spin it?
And this kid can flat out spin it. And to reiterate those things well too, with him, it is the pedigree that he comes from. And this is why when you say, oh, he does this, it's that thing. Let's remind people on this show, if they don't know, I've done it in other conversations, people are like, oh, and then I'm getting Instagram reels of, oh, you said this morning. Yeah. The only Instagram reels I watch are the ones my friends and family send me. I don't really look at shit else, especially when it comes to sports, because I know enough. And anything I don't know, I'll ask somebody that I trust.
Right.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question. Before Caleb Williams was the quarterback for his head coach, the coach that he had in college, do you remember who the quarterback was before Caleb Williams for the coach that he's played for the last 4 years? Do you remember who that was? Last 3 years.
List of them.
And if you don't, it's okay. I can do this for you.
God, I can't think of the kid's name, the guy's name now. I don't want to say
well,
kid.
You can't think of it because you know him, because he's played in the Super Bowl recently. That was Jalen Hurts.
Thank you.
So, God. Chris, let me ask you, do you remember who the quarterback was that played for this same coach before Jalen Hurts? Do you remember who that quarterback was?
Please, because I'm going to intertwine Lincoln and Cliff Kingsbury.
Let's see, you're already, there you go. You know who the coach is. The answer is Kyler Murray. Do you know who the quarterback was before Kyler Murray?
There is a
quarterback for the same coach? Baker Mayfield. What do all three of those quarterbacks have in common? They all led their teams to the playoffs. Baker's been twice. When Kyler's been healthy and had weapons, he's been to the playoffs. And Jalen
just took a Tampa Bay team. Baker just took a Tampa Bay team that probably shouldn't have been in the NFL to the playoffs and pushed
and won a game.
Like they pushed. Come on, man! Like it's
so. This is This is who's been teaching this kid. This kid has been at the learning tree of the college quarterback guru of the last 7 years. Every quarterback that he has had get drafted that has started for him and has either won the Heisman, which is what's crazy,
or has been
in contention for the Heisman. And every single one of those guys has won a playoff. Has either been in the playoffs or won a playoff game.
I don't even want to end it with that. I'm going to throw in a wild card on it. Let's not forget, he had Spencer Rattler as a first rounder before the kid transferred and got benched. Like, everybody was high up on Spencer Rattler, either winning a Heisman or going in the top 5.
And who took his job?
The man in question.
So, to that 90% dumb fan base that feels like we made a mistake because we drafted a guy that took the job of the number 1 rated quarterback of his year, and this kid's actually going to get drafted, and he probably could end up starting. We're talking about Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
He has talent. We just know between the ears what he has. Enjoy the ride. And I can tell you right now, the bottom line is this. If you're a Bears fan, we haven't been relevant since the Khalil Mack trade. And before that, we haven't been relevant since the days of Urlacher and Briggs. Enjoy, at least for this year, that they have to talk about us, because for once in a long time in this division, it's been some years, we don't have the worst quarterback.
No.
By default. And this is no disrespect to J.J. McCarthy, who is a Chicago suburban kid, so he's one of us. But if you had to choose between Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy,
I'm taking Caleb all day long.
I think everybody's taking Caleb. So I just want to close in saying this, because we're basically out of time. But that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to get on a public forum and call anybody that is upset that Justin Fields is not the quarterback of our team. I wanted to call you stupid and put it out here forever. I still love you, and it's going to be fun to watch this kid succeed and fail. There's nothing in me that has said he's going to be the MVP of the league.
No, you never said that. You never said
I'm not saying that. There's growing pains. There's nothing in me that's saying that we are going to the Super Bowl because we just can't. No.
Didn't say that.
What I'm telling you is, for the first time, legitimately, and again, this is sad to say, since Jay Cutler, that's the history of our team, we have a competent guy that can get through a progression. And I want to say this about Justin Fields to the Justin Fields mourners. Do you think Keenan Allen was coming to Chicago if Justin Fields was starting quarterback? I'm going to tell you, as a wide receiver who has played with great quarterbacks and the GOAT in his own football career, fuck no. No disrespect to DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a great player. And DJ Moore did what any good number 1 would do. Well, my numbers were good. I'm going to defend that. He knows where I'm at. I had a 200-yard game on national television.
Yeah.
You notice you ain't seen DJ Moore said RIP and moved on very quickly, because I guarantee you he's caught balls from this kid. You know how I know he's caught balls from this kid? Because the rookie's already caught balls from this kid. So shout out to Ryan Poles, who has at least given himself another 2 years to figure this thing out. He's got at least 2 years. He gets 2 years, and then we can figure out if it's the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a quarterback that has been graded on the same level of the Andrew Lucks, the Matty Staffords of the world. Like, that is the pedigree of this kid.
It's not slight
Patrick Mahomes wasn't even graded this high.
Do you remember this shit they said about Mahomes? God.
Andy Reid. And like, we're going to have to get, that's why we need more time, which we'll take. You know what? Rant over. I'm good. I love you, family and friends. I love all you that loved him, because I stood and I supported it. I did because I wanted to eat crow on this show. I really did. And Chris can tell you that when I said I hope I'm wrong, I meant that. Because there's nothing better than watching James Walton eat shit for terrible takes. Like this one right here. North Carolina's going to win a national championship. Alabama ended that. That one's for you, buddy. Y'all were this close.
We're a basketball school now.
Y'all were this close. If you don't, we would have been on the air if Alabama would have figured it out. They just couldn't figure it out.
America, give me a minute because we only got like 3 minutes. So America, give me a minute. Listen, I am in no way saying that the dynasty is completely done. What I am saying is that the coach that's there now has won everywhere he's went. He has a very talented roster, and I look forward to seeing what the season has to come because I think he's about to do something pretty cool. I don't see us going undefeated, but I can see us looking at the record, looking at what everybody else has, us maybe losing like one game, and you know what the one game is going to be to. So, but with all that being said, Alabama is now a basketball powerhouse. Not in the SEC.
Hey.
Alabama is a basketball powerhouse.
Hey, shout out Nate Oates, man. Nate Oates and ran John Calipari
up out of there.
Listen, ran him to Arkansas. He had to take a step back.
Michigan State, I wish Bays was on this because we have a little group chat going between the three of us. I wish Bays would say something about any kind of sport whatsoever because the clouds that are around Michigan State when it comes to sports and everything else right now, he can't say shit about any sport. He can talk about academics, of which we are the Harvard of the South, but he can talk about academics a little bit, but he can't talk about football, basketball, baseball. We're ranked second in gymnastics. Our golf team's fucking amazing. Listen, Alabama is a basketball fucking powerhouse, and I've dropped more F-bombs in my Give Me a Minute than I've dropped this entire episode, but I just want people to know. Sorry. I want people to know the football dynasty is not dead. It's reconfiguring. All right. We're not rebuilding, we're reloading. All right. Shut your goddamn mouth. Secondly, if you got a problem with a football team, meet us on the basketball court, bitch. It's that simple. Get your 5, we got our 5. We will meet you at Rupp Arena. We'll meet you at the Garden. We'll meet you at the Coliseum. It don't matter. We're going to meet you at the park in Billings, Montana. Bring your 5, we got our 5. We're a basketball school. America, that's been my minute.
That's pretty good. Shout out Mark Sears, man. One of my favorite guys that I've seen come through in a season. Mark Sears was special. That was fun to watch. And I did win a little bit of money thanks to Alabama. So thank you. So I guess in closing, America, give me a minute. So here we are. We're free, Chicago. We're free to dream again. We're free to believe.
That was so deep.
We are. We now have 4 months to imagine what the future can look like.
Oh.
And the beauty of drafting a kid like this that has the type of pedigree that he has, he delivers. This is what makes people want to go, you know what? I've heard good things about being a Bear. I've heard that they will take care of you. And I can tell you from my own experience as a young man in them streets, it is a fact. If you win in Chicago, and especially if you're a Chicago Bear, you ask Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Jerry Azuma, who made like an alternate Pro Bowl, but was running around the city acting crazy, Kyle Orton, ask these guys, because I used to see these guys out. These dudes was running Chicago in the mid-2000s. And that's how you make it attractive to this group, man. The one thing about the Gold going to love you if you win. And you will be remembered. I remember being out at a bar one time where Michael Jordan, Richard Dent, Otis Wilson were in the building. And that place was lit because there were legends in there. I had to get Rashard Lewis through the door. Charles Lewis was an all-star by that point. Had to get Chris Wilcox in because he had on jogging pants. So this is the era that we have an opportunity. We can believe again because we have a kid, at least at that position, that is capable of doing the things that we've seen these playoff teams that have been successful. They all have one thing in common. They got guys that can spin it. Cincinnati's got that guy. They had a chance to dream. I don't know what's happening. All of a sudden, I can't be heard. But I'm still going. It's my internet connection, America. That's why I know it's time to go. The truth is, when you've got a Joe Burrow, you can dream. Matt Stafford completed the dream. Patrick Mahomes has done it 1,000 times. Even Brock Purdy down here, a guy that has risen from nothing to something, the dude can spin it, and he showed it. Baker Mayfield gave Tampa Bay hope, so much hope they gave him $100 million. Kirk Cousins can spin it, even though they took two knees bad Michael Vick version. Arthur Blank was like, I got to get it right with a lefty black quarterback. Okay, that's another different show. The point is this. You need to do the same thing I did 3 years ago. You can hate it, but if he gets us into one playoff game, he's already done more
success
than every quarterback that has been before him since Jay Cutler in 2010. And that is facts. And that's all I've spit to you. I apologize that I had to call you dumb, but you need to hear it from somebody that loves you. So enjoy it. Enjoy watching quarterback play that matters. And this is from my fantasy league. If you draft any Bear that I want before I get him, I just may have to put hands on you. It's been my minute.
With that being said, I don't even have time to do all the sign-offs and everything because I have to go pick up a child and leave. I have to
shout out all the sponsors. We love you.
Love all you. What's good, America?
What's good?